Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Today we have Jeff DeLong from the Global Partner Enablement team to talk about O.P.E.N. Basically, it will consist of accreditation, demo system, and technical library. Okay, pass it to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Sharon. As Sharon said, my name is Jeff DeLong. I'm a manager with the Global Partner Enablement team. I'm based here in Utah in the United States, and thank you for attending. Today I'm going to talk about O.P.E.N, which is our online partner enablement network. And if you were here for the keynote, I gave a brief introduction to O.P.E.N, and I'm going to go through many more of the details about it today. Go through the various accreditations, talk about some of the classes, demonstrate some of the classes. I'll also talk about our partner demo system and show a couple of the demos, environments that are available in the partner demo system. And then I'll also talk a little bit about our technical library and show how that can be how we can access that and find out information in the technical library. Okay. It's taking a while, I believe, for the screen to advance in terms of what you're seeing. So I may be slightly ahead of what you're seeing on the screen, but I'll try to go slow in between the slide transitions. So as part of O.P.E.N, we have a series of online training courses. Most of them are self-paced, or we call them semi-self-paced. There's training aimed at salespeople that is short, takes only an hour or two to complete. And then there are technical classes aimed at the solution engineer and sales engineer and delivery people, consultants that are much longer. They include many hours of online presentation videos and such, as well as extensive set of labs. These classes, which we call e-labs, are organized into training sessions, into class sessions. You can sign up and register for them. And when the class starts, you'll be given access to the online training environment as well as to a cloud-based lab environment to do all the labs. We're also going to talk about partner demo system. A partner demo system is there for partners to practice what they've learned in the training in a very similar environment to what the training environment is. The partner can go into partner demo system, redo some of the labs, try out some of the demos, or even build a custom demo for their customer in order to demonstrate some of the product features in order to help in a sales situation. And then we also have an online technical library. Has a lot of different reference architecture, sales guides, presentations, etc., that you can use to gather more information about the products to help with the sales situation. So there, as part of the O.P.E.N training program, there's three main specialization areas: middleware solutions, data center infrastructure, and cloud infrastructure. Middleware solutions being, the JBoss middleware software, and application development with platform as a service. Data center infrastructure being kind of the traditional RHEL platform, virtualization, storage, and cloud infrastructure being the new stuff, the cloud management with cloud forms, OpenStack, infrastructure as a service, and OpenShift, platform as a service. Now, within each of these major specialization areas, there are individual specializations, or often we refer to these as tracks. So, for example, in middleware solutions, we have the middleware application development track, the middleware migration track, the middleware integration track, the business process automation track, and coming in the next month or two, the PaaS development track. And each of these tracks has a separate specialization that goes along with it. Data center infrastructure consists of a platform specialization along with platform migration, virtualization, and storage. And cloud, as I said, consists of cloud forms, OpenStack, and OpenShift, and specializations around them. So each one of these specializations has an accreditation that goes with it, where the individual that completes the courses that make up that track is awarded that specialization, is awarded that accreditation. For the partner then needs to take in order to be, say, an accredited middleware solutions partner, they need to have a certain number of people that have taken the middleware application development specialization. We call this the base track, as well as at least one of the other specialization tracks. So these accreditations are based on people's roles. We define 3 roles in O.P.E.N. There's the sales role, the sales engineer role, and the delivery role. And each of those has training that's tailored specifically for them. The sales role consists of sales-oriented training. It's delivered in online electronic learning, ELT form. Most of the classes are 30 minutes to an hour or two, and they're all around how to sell the various products. They go into the subscription model, what the product's main benefits are, how to handle objections, how to look for good opportunities for the particular product, etc. On the delivery role is where all the technical training resides. And this is the multi-day, we call them E-Labs because they're heavily lab-based courses around EAP6 or RHEL or Cloud Forms or OpenShift or those sorts of things. These classes run in class sessions that are anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. We repeat those every 5 or 6 weeks or so. And generally, we figure it takes someone anywhere from 8 or 10 to 30 to 40 hours to complete one of these classes, with about half of that time being spent reviewing online content, videos, listening to audio, reviewing presentations and such, and the other half being performing labs in our online lab environment. So if we look at the details of the middleware solutions, we see that there are 5 different specialization areas within middleware solutions, 5 different tracks. And within those tracks, there are sales specializations, sales engineer specializations, and delivery specializations. So there's the Red Hat Sales Specialist Application Development, the Red Hat Sales Engineer Specialist Application Development, the Red Hat Delivery Specialist Application Development, and specializations then for each of these areas. We described the sales and delivery courseware a minute ago. The sales engineer typically takes a mixture of both types of classes. They'll take sales-oriented classes as well as some of the technical delivery-focused training. And similarly for the data center infrastructure, we have the 4 different tracks there, along with the sales engineer, and delivery specializations. The track with the asterisk is the base track. So we saw on the previous slide, that's the middleware application development track. In the data center infrastructure, it's the platform track. And then with cloud infrastructure, there is no base track. All 3 of the tracks are somewhat independent of each other. So it doesn't make sense really to make one foundational to the others. One of the interesting things with cloud management track is there's actually 2 specializations required in the delivery track. There's the Red Hat Delivery Specialist Cloud Management Implementation, and then there's the Red Hat Delivery Specialist Advanced Cloud Management Implementation. Now, the Advanced Cloud Management is it's a more advanced accreditation with additional training. And because that additional training is fairly time-consuming and requires some particular skill sets as prerequisites, not everyone is required to, not every delivery person is required to have that specialization. We just require a minimum, 1 accredited individual is required to have that specialization. Again, it's more of a rarer skill that not everyone on your team would need to have. You also see on these slides is some of the availability dates. Most of this is what I just went through is already available. Cloud infrastructure is something we're rolling out over the last couple months and through the next couple months. Most of the cloud forms, cloud management training is available now in ILT form and is becoming available in our eLabs. IIS is available ILT, but we're still working on the online training, the eLabs training. And Platform as a Service, we're just rolling out the eLabs this month. So I won't go through all of these, the details behind these. They're in the presentation. They're also available online through Partner Center. But these are kind of the detailed what goes into a particular accreditation, and then in the next couple slides, what classes make that up. So we see, for example, the Red Hat Accredited Middleware Solutions Specialist. First of all, there's the sales engineer, and delivery. There's the sort of average or estimated duration for each of those roles in their training. And then there's the same information for middleware migration, integration, business process automation, and now the new platform as a service. So we've provide the what the accreditation is and the approximate number of hours for that training. And then if we want to look at the courses here, we can see that the Red Hat Sales Specialist for Application Development has to take Red Hat Foundations, JBoss Middleware Sales Overview, and an assessment. Those are all pretty short. The sales engineer takes those, plus they'll take EAP pricing and positioning, and they'll also take application development with EAP 6, which is our main delivery class associated with the EAP 6. And that's all that's required for the delivery specialist. And again, that's a fairly long training class. We figure it takes someone about 32 hours to get through all of the lecture and lab in that. And that's all online. And we have the same thing for middleware migration, middleware integration, business process automation. So I'm just going to kind of flip through those quickly. Again, they're in the presentation. Data infrastructure, similar. There's the sales engineer and delivery. There's the time estimates that go into each one, what the specializations are, and then what the training is. What the class is, how long we estimate the class to take, and those sorts of things. And again, I won't go through all of those details. That'd be somewhat tedious, but you should get a copy of the presentation and be able to look at that. If you have questions, you can address those to Sharon, who manages the open program here in APAC. And same for cloud. So next thing I want to talk about is how you get access to this training. And so what I'm going to do next is talk about Partner Center and do a demo. So let me share another part of my screen. Okay, so this is Partner Center, partner.redhat.com. One of the first things you do as a partner, you want to have access to Partner Center. You get an RHN login, and then you request access to Partner Center. And if you're part of a partner, authorized partner, then you can get access. Within that, there's a lot of different things that you can go to, various information resources and stuff. The first one I'm going to look at is the enablement tab. But instead of clicking on it, I already have it open here. If I can find which one it is. Yeah, so if I click on enablement, it brings me actually into, takes me to this page, which is our learning management system. It's called Sum Total. And within that, there are various things I can do. I could, first of all, I could look at my transcript. Okay, that should pull up here in a minute. And you can see John Doe's been busy. Looks like he's completed just about every course we have. I can also go to my training. And here I can go through looking for a class to sign up for. So say, for example, I want to sign up for our business logic development with BPMS Suite 6. So that's in middleware solutions. It's a delivery course. Okay, and then I can look down through these. I get to business process automation. Your screen may be lagging behind mine. I look for business logic development with JBoss BRMS. I look down to the registration, and under that, then I see business logic development with JBoss BRMS registration, and I see a course that then I can go and register for. I can also view the details, etc. Okay, so that's how I would register. I'm not going to register for that. And actually, here I just clicked one more time. Hopefully you're catching up to this. Under the registration, if you click one more time, you see that there are various e-labs and they have start dates associated with them. So the next one starts 7/14. The one after that starts 8/25. So based on my schedule, I can sign up, say, for the one that starts on 7/14. And this is a fairly lengthy course, so it's going to run for about 4 weeks. And so I should know that before signing up for it, that I'm going to need to complete, again, 32, 35, 40 hours of activity spent on it in that 4-week period. So I need to make sure that I have some time set aside to do that. Maybe I'm not in the middle of a big project or something. So that's how I can sign up for that class. Well, I was going to show you what the class looked like in the learning management system, but unfortunately, I'm not able to get access to the LMS right now. Not exactly sure why. But let me proceed on. Yeah, there was a few slides on showing how to sign up for the class. Again, I can't get access to the class right now. But let me take a minute and show the lab environment. So the lab environment is in OpenShift. So here's what it looks like. We provide you with an OpenShift account with an already provisioned BPM Suite gear. And then over a series of, I think it's 22 labs, you gradually build up this solution that I'm showing here. So this is a business process. This is actually probably about what you have at the end of lab, maybe 14 or 15, is a completed business process. You actually start off by creating a project and an organization and a project within that. You create some rules in our guided rule editor. We then show you how to, in JBoss Developer Studio, get access to the same Git repository that these assets are in, update some of the rules, move them back into the Git repository, work on them some more in the online, in the O.P.E.N suite gear. Keep adding to the rules, expanding it out, expanding out the use case. Finally, we get into rule flow, into the business process, start building the process out. Each lab, we add a few more tasks into the lab until 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through the labs, we've built out this process. Then we start testing the process, we simulate the process, and then eventually we look at, run many instances of the process and look at the business activity monitoring data associated with the process. So each step, each module in the class, each 30 or 40 minute module in the class is followed by a 30, 40, 50, 60 minute lab where you create a little bit more of this use case. And by the time it's done, you have a fairly complete process with 20 or 30 rules that you've written and test cases and things like that, and scripts to test it and such. So the idea is by the time you take this class, you would be able to not only build a demo of the product, but do a POC and get started on a project. Fuse Service Works Lab also has a somewhat similar environment, although as far as an online lab environment, it also makes heavy use of the JBoss Developer Studio. I won't spend a lot of time or any time really looking at that. Next thing I want to talk about is Partner Demo System. And I have a couple different there's a couple different demos in Partner Demos. Well, actually, there's several different demos. So the first thing about Partner Demo System is that we access it, or it's controlled through CloudForms. So CloudForms is our cloud management product, and we use it to manage access to these this demonstration lab environment. So here's the CloudForms interfaces. I can go into catalogs. Oops. Log in again. Okay, so here's a lot of different demos. Most of these run on their own VMs that get provisioned for them. Many of the most interesting ones are also cloud-based demos. But there's demos of different technology, demos of satellite, demos of CloudForms itself, demos of OpenShift, etc. So, to order one of these up, you can go to pick one of these and click on it, and then you can order a demo. So I did that a week or two back, and if I go to My Services, I see I have this OpenShift demo environment that it's created for me. and it tells me some of the information about it and URLs. And when I request it, it takes a few minutes to provision. I get an email back, and the email says, "Okay, your demo's been created. Here are the URLs to access it, etc." So in this case, I gotta get the right OpenShift. This is the OpenShift environment that is created. Now, this OpenShift environment is dedicated to my usage, so there's no one else using it. I have an account on it. I can create applications. I've also created an application already, first PHP. We also provide instructions to go through. So, for instance, when I created first PHP, I followed a set of instructions to do that, similar to what I would have learned in the OpenShift admin training. So I went through all of that. I followed the instructions, and I created this application. And so we have several different applications that you can create based on these sets of instructions. And of course, you could play around and create your own as well. Or if you had to do, say, a demo to a customer, then you could, create your own online demo using your own OpenShift. You can also get into some of the things around administrating and managing it and things like that. You can practice RHC commands and such. And there are, again, demos around CloudForms, demos around OpenStack, demos around RHEL and Satellite, demos around various JBoss products. Now, the existing demos around JBoss products we're going to replace with demos based around JBoss products running on OpenShift. So yesterday, if you were at the my presentation on XPath reference architectures, then I showed you an XPath reference architecture which was built in our OpenShift demo environment. So the difference between these two is this is an OpenShift environment. It's a much larger OpenShift environment, and it's shared now between many different people. And this is where I've created, I was given an account on this, and I created a BPMS demo and a few ServiceWorks, demo, or say a BPMS suite gear and a few ServiceWorks gear. And then I, followed the instructions in that reference architecture and built out that demo and tested it. And that's what I did last night. So we're creating a whole series of these that you'll be able to do and check things out and try them out and such in that environment. And so that's Partner Demo System. The last thing I want to talk about is Partner Tech Library. So one of the other options here is there's browse content. So if I hit browse content, it will bring up another web page. And I'll pause a minute while that shows up. And here we see a list of documents, along with various search criteria and such. So, for instance, if I'm looking for, say, reference architecture, so maybe I just put in reference, I could say go, right? And so I get a bunch of reference architectures, and now maybe I'm looking for ones that are in JBoss. So I can go down and tag it with JBoss. I could also do Adobe PDF or something like that. And here you see it's filtered, and I see, okay, Red Hat EAP6 clustering. Okay, well, maybe that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so now it comes up, I can download it, I can subscribe to it in case it changes. Why don't I download it, and I'll actually open it. And here I see the JBoss EAP6 clustering reference architecture. It's part of the Red Hat reference architecture series. And it's a document on high availability configuration best practices written by Babak Mozaffari, who's a member of the technical staff and a good friend of mine. If you look at this document, it's a very long, involved. Let's see, it's 138 pages, and it goes through in fairly excruciating detail all the things you need to do to set up a JBoss EAP6 cluster. So again, very, very detailed on how to do that. Most of the reference architectures are that way. Let's get rid of that. You could also find things around sales presentations. You can find documents that describe the open collateral. Various forms of technical sales-related materials. You can find presentations on the products and things like that. All right. Sharon, I'm not sure how many people we have or whether we wanted to have questions. But if people want to put questions in on the chat, if there's anything in more detail they'd like to go into or questions that they have, I'd be happy to take questions.
Okay, so normally for the previous session, we actually ask them to put in the chat box. Then from there, we'll answer. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so if anybody has questions and want to enter them in the chat box, I can try and respond.
Okay, Jeff, seems like there's no questions.
Okay, well, again, thank you for attending.
Thank you. But if any questions, I'll just send it to you or I can answer it. Yep.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.